Okay, so let's talk about a TV show that was so scandalous, it had religious groups protesting, advertisers boycotting, and the media in a total frenzy, all before a single frame of it ever aired. You heard that right. This is the absolutely wild story of soap. I mean, just look at this quote. Before this show even hit the airwaves in 1977, you had religious leaders, parent groups, even some of the network's own local stations completely up in arms. One of the big critics called it, and this is a direct quote, a low-life, salacious program. Whoa. The attacks were coming from everywhere, and they were harsh. So you have to ask, right? What on earth was this show about that it could cause a nationwide firestorm before anyone had even seen it? Let's peel back the layers on the series that got everyone talking, got everyone arguing, and yep, eventually got millions and millions of people to tune in. All right, so was this TV's most hated show? You'd think it was something really serious, right? But nope. At its heart, it was actually a comedy, just a story about two sisters and their absolutely, completely bonkers families. The show was, of course, called Soap, and it ran from 1977 to 81. It was this brilliant creation from Susan Harris, and the whole idea was to take those wild, dramatic, never-ending storylines you see on daytime soaps and turn them into a primetime parody. It was basically making fun of soap operas by being the most insane soap opera ever.
So the whole show revolved around these two families. First, you have the Tates. They're super wealthy, super reckless, and they live in a neighborhood that's literally named Rich. Yeah, subtle. Their whole life is just one big mess of affairs and family drama. Then you've got the Campbells. They're the working class side of the family, and let me tell you, their problems were a little different. We're talking mob connections, murder plots, just normal family stuff.
So let's meet the Tates and the Campbells properly. And as you can see from that subtitle, they had, let's just say, a few minor family issues. And when I say minor, I'm being extremely sarcastic. This is where it gets crazy. Okay, just take a look at this list. This is just a glimpse into the chaos. Alien abduction, check. Demonic possession, oh yeah. Murder, kidnapping, amnesia, cults, a communist revolution, impotence, infidelity, and exorcism. I mean, seriously. They took every single soap opera trope you could think of and just cranked the dial up to 11. It was pure, unhinged genius. And the characters driving this madness? Absolutely unforgettable. You had Jessica Tate, the matriarch who was so sweet but totally clueless. There was Benson, the Tate's butler, who was so sarcastic and brilliant that he got his own hit spin-off show. Then there's Burt Campbell, the guy who, gets abducted by aliens. And then you have Chuck and his ventriloquist dummy Bob, who was basically his evil alter ego. And, this was huge for the 70s, you had Jodi Dallas, one of TV's very first openly gay main characters, played by a super young Billy Crystal. Truly groundbreaking stuff. So as you can probably guess, all of this creativity gave the network censors a massive, massive headache. Which brings us to a secret memo, a document that got leaked and became legendary in the TV world. Let's look inside the battle they were having with ABC. So here's what happened. The creator, Susan Harris, she had this whole 5-season arc planned out. Well, the network censorship department, they call it standards and practices, they looked at her plan and basically sent back this huge list of things she had to change. And then someone leaked that memo to the press. And it was like throwing a tanker truck of gasoline on an already raging fire. And some of the notes in this memo are just hilarious, truly bizarre. So there was this storyline where a priest is trying to, modernize the Mass. And the official note from the network censors was, and I'm not making this up, the substitution of Oreos for the traditional wafer is unacceptable. Can you even imagine getting that note? Oreos? That's what they were worried about? Of course, they were also really worried about the language and, all the sexual stuff. The memo was just packed with demands like this one, deleting words like slut and any lines that they thought were even a little too suggestive. And this note, this one really tells you everything you need to know about the time. It's about the gay character Jody. The network was absolutely terrified. They demanded that his relationship with a football player avoid, quote, explicit or intimate aspects of homosexuality entirely. I mean, it's just such a powerful and kind of sad reminder of how groundbreaking this character was and how much fear there was around it. So, you've got protests, nervous advertisers, panicking censors. This show was dead on arrival, right? Not even close. In what has to be one of the biggest backfires in TV history, all that outrage turned into the best free publicity you could ever ask for. So did all that controversy tank the show? Absolutely not. Look at this number, 39%. On its premiere night, nearly 40% of every single person in America watching television was watching soap. Everyone had to see what all the fuss was about. It became a cultural event overnight. And it wasn't just a one-night wonder either. This wasn't some fluke. For its first 3 seasons, Soap was a top 25 hit. I mean, number 13 in its first year, that's huge. It proves that people genuinely loved the show. The insane plots, the incredible writing, all of it. It wasn't just popular, it was critically acclaimed too. The industry that had been so nervous about it ended up loving it. It got nominated for Outstanding Comedy Series. Robert Guillaume won an Emmy for playing Benson. Then, Richard Mulligan and Catherine Damon both won lead acting Emmys. Katherine Hellman won a Golden Globe. This show was an awards magnet. But then, after 4 incredible seasons of being one of the boldest shows on TV, it all just stopped. The story came to a screeching halt, and it left audiences with what might be the single most frustrating ending in television history. So after season 4, ABC just canceled it. Out of the blue. Now, the official story was that the ratings were slipping a little bit, but come on. The feeling has always been that the advertisers, who never really got comfortable with the show, finally put enough pressure on the network to kill it. And because the cancellation was so sudden, the last episode ended on a pile of massive cliffhangers. I mean, look at this. Was Jessica, the main character, really about to be executed by a firing squad? Did Chester actually murder his family? Was Bert about to be ambushed? Was Jody going to be stuck hypnotized as a 90-year-old man? Forever? We never found out. None of it was ever resolved, and fans were, understandably, furious. But even with that awful ending, the show's legacy is undeniable. The Museum of Broadcast Communications calls it arguably one of the most creative efforts by network television before or after. And I think that's right. It just broke so many rules and proved that audiences were way smarter and more ready for challenging comedy than anyone gave them credit for. And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? In today's world, with all the different streaming services and social media, could a show like this even get made? A show this bold, this controversial, this brilliantly weird, could it even survive on network television today? Seriously, what do you guys think? Would Soap be a huge hit today, or would it get canceled by Twitter before the first episode even finished? Let me know what you think down in the comments. And hey, if you had fun diving into this piece of TV history, please hit that like button and subscribe for more explainers just like this one. Thanks for hanging out with me.